listening to the Punisher Waterfowls, the Union 0430 podcast. Brought to you by Real Geese Decoys, the most technological advanced silhouette decoys on the market. And Vortex Canada, the force of optics.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Union 0430 episode 70. Oh yeah, you better believe it. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jeff Coates. He's joining us, but guess what, everybody? We got him to Canada. He is no longer in Maryland. He is in Canada. We're not letting him leave. I'm going down to PEI next weekend. We're going to take him hostage. We're not letting him go back. Anyways, we're going to get on to episode 70. We got a short crew on with us tonight. Ryan's away on some personal stuff. Mark is in Newfoundland visiting family. Phil may jump on when he gets off from keeping the world a safer place. But we got Dave all the way from Kincardine on with us. And the man himself just did the drive. Him and his beautiful wife came all the way from Maryland today, just getting into PEI, just getting settled in. I believe he's only on his first drink, and he said that he'd come and hang out with us tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Coates.
Dare I say, the sixth member of the Union 0430 podcast.
I would say
so.
This is what episode. This is the third time
70.
You've been on.
Attaboy!
Ooh, look at that, eh?
Did you see where it came from?
I did.
All right. I'm just saying. I just want you guys to know I'm prepared, man.
Yeah. I tell you what, when you meet up with the rest of the boys, they'll be sure to throw that right in your face to make sure that you do have it. So.
Oh. And I come prepared.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that because our goal to getting Bird Dog whiskey into Canada, we need it just because having to pay duty on this stuff to get it across the border to come, it's a nightmare. So we got to get Bird Dog whiskey into Canada so we don't have to tie Jeff up when he comes across the border with Bird Dog whiskey for us. Dave.
Hey, there's a movie called The Mule, and like,
yeah,
it didn't really did well. You know what I'm saying?
There's not much difference between you and Clint Eastwood either, though, right? I see a lot of similarities.
Maybe younger by a slight bit, just a little bit younger. Not much.
Dave, I know you really want to talk to Jeff tonight because you got a surprise.
Well, I just want to say duty is a killer because I have been searching high and low for a Jeff Coates decoy, and I finally got one.
Bam! Where'd you find that?
My buddy Jordan found it.
Yes. He actually called me one morning. I think that's about, I don't know. I'll guess it's 2008 or 2009.
In my mind, I imagine that these pellets that are in it were shot by you.
But by you that were with me while shooting. Wait, time out. Jeff and Judy, guys, thank you very much. I'm sorry. They're
I'll see you guys in a week, Jeff and Judy.
They'll see you. They're excited about you getting here. I'm sorry. I would guess that's like 2008.
It's 2015. It says is when you signed it.
That's when you signed it.
Yeah.
There's a little look in the tails. There's a little stamp, like real small.
Yeah, 2011.
Okay, in 2011. All right, I'm off a couple years. I'm sorry.
That's pretty interesting. So I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but I love the stamp. Pitboss stamped it.
That's cool.
Awesome.
It's beautiful. Excellent work there, buddy.
Glad you have it. Thank you.
Yeah. But speaking of duty like that, UPS, what a shit show that place is. If you ship something across the border and you use UPS, Jesus Christ. Yeah. It costs the same price as the decoy just for the duty.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that.
It's kind of statute of limitations on anything.
There should be a statute of limitations on UPS being a company right now. Holy. I'm a little angry about it, but
I don't know this. I don't know this for a fact, but I was told to get some silhouettes shipped from the United States to PEI. Let's say the silhouettes were, it was a pretty good order, but let's say it was $700.
Mm-hmm.
The shipping and duties was just over $500.
Yeah,
that's insane.
It is insane. So Craig Mintz from Real Geese Decoys, Craig will put on deals every once in a while where he'll have free shipping for continental US. And so like people will ask Dave and I, hey, is that free shipping for us here in Canada? And we got to say no, because Craig would lose his shirt if he had to do free shipping up to Canada. He would lose his shirt.
But you know how to avoid duty. Our friends, Canadian Waterfowl Supplies. Right? Just saying, if you guys are looking for anything, there's a way.
A huge sticker. That's awesome.
But you know what? You have to pay duty on no matter what.
Yeah.
Bird dog whiskey. It's not in Canada.
Not in Canada. You got to pay duty on it.
Yeah. Maybe it's time that those boys picked up the slack and brought that stuff up to us.
I think so.
LCBO.
I think
LCBO, so. Let's get on it.
I do want to
buy the container.
Yeah, no doubt. I want to touch on a couple things. So Jeff, you probably don't know this, but by the time that the show airs on Monday, Dave and I will have had pulled off our fourth hunt camp, where we literally put the invite out across our entire social media, and we say, listen, these are the dates. Why don't we get together and hunt? It costs us X number of dollars. We have a guide, we have accommodations, we have food, everything's squared away. All you got to do is get yourself there with your gun, license, and ammo. We take care of the rest. So tomorrow, everybody is going to come together with this new veteran guide that I found, a friend of mine. He's the chair of a Ducks Unlimited chapter called Highland Waterfowl Guide Service. He's put together a fantastic weekend for us. And we've got 13 people from all across Ontario are going to flood into this area, and we're going to have some good time, have some drinks, have some great food, shoot some birds, and just hang out and do what this entire sport lifestyle is meant to be. And that is just be good people and hang out and have a laugh. And the birds are just a secondary. I can't wait.
October 15th and 16th.
Yes, sir. 15th, 16th, 17th. We got a Sunday hunt in there. We'll do that super early Sunday morning. Get back, clean birds, clear out of the cottages, and everybody is off to home. We'll talk more about that weekend, and then I get back here. I got some admin to do at home, and then I pack up my truck, and I've got Steve Segulik and Josh Reed hopping aboard with me, and we're heading to PEI to hunt with you and Geoff. It's going to be awesome.
It is going to be awesome.
I sort of kind of feel bad for Dave, because Dave really wanted to come, and he can't because Dave's got a real job and he's got responsibilities that he can't get away from. But I also feel bad for everybody on social media, Jeff, because they are going to be flooded with video and posts about the two of us getting together and actually hunting. And that's going to add a little bit of salt to Dave's wound there as well, because
I'm turning off social media for a week.
Yeah.
So some of the backstory, the whole thinking of you we are, that is about what we are doing in the moment currently. Those who are not with us, we are thinking of you because you should be with us doing this.
That's right. That's right.
That's what I think.
Absolutely. And I know it seems like, you and I, we text back and forth, Jeff. We talk on the phone. You know, we're in constant contact with one another, and it seems like we've known each other, and the same with Dave. You know, it seems like the three of us have all known one another for so long, but yet I'm finally going to get to meet you in just over a week. So I'm pretty stoked, to say the least.
But I think that's where.
Go, Dave.
No, I was just gonna say that's kind of where like the whole bird hunting, like especially duck hunting, is like a brotherhood. You know, all the people are kind of joined by one thing, and that's their passion for this little bird that everyone just wants to go after, and they have that connection. So it's, I don't know, I think that's kind of what ties it all together, and that's kind of a message we've been trying to get out too, is like there's more to bird hunting than just sharing your pictures on Instagram and becoming famous, right? Like, so yeah.
I agree 100%. Robbie Shaw here at Shaw. Oh, Karen's phone's ringing. Robbie Shaw was here this evening, and I said, "Hey," I said, "Damien and the boys are coming. They're going to be in number 19." He's like, "Oh yeah, I got them booked in." He's like, "You know, who are they? What are they?" I said, "Man, it's the Punisher Waterfowl podcast." I said, "It's the Union 0430 podcast." I said, they're just guys that they profess not to be professional, but they are guys that love, the common bond is they love hanging out with each other, and they love chasing waterfowl. And and Jeff was standing there too, and that's what it's all about. You know, it really is. And Robbie himself, his son, you know, they love to hunt. Damon, when you get here, so this is number 19 is right behind us here, and
yeah.
There's a bean field right out in front of us where the sun sets, and Brackley Bay is right out in front of us, and there's blinds right here on the water right in front of us.
Oh wow! So yep. I don't want to take anything away from Brackley Beach and the whole bit, but Dave really got into something, and then you sort of touched on it, Jeff, and it'd be it'd be really interesting to hear your thoughts on it, because Dave and I have talked about this, and one thing that we are seeing amongst our, and I don't want to say peers, but it's people that we know and people that we're coming across, but it seems like our generation, so I'm 45, Dave's a couple years younger, but it seems like our generation is starting to fade away. Like it doesn't seem like there's as many of us that's willing to do the work anymore. And I don't mean my generation isn't willing to do the work anymore. It's the younger generation. They want birds instant. They don't want to do the work, and they don't want to put the time into doing it. Like it's got to be an instant gratification right off the bat. And you know, Jeff, you've been doing this for a long time, and I'm not trying to date you by no means, but you've seen the evolution over, you know, the past number of years. You know, like, what's your thoughts on this?
So first off, I want to say once again, in the trio here, I'm the oldest guy, and that seems to be the history. When I go to Texas Teal, wherever I go these days, I look to see if there's somebody older than me, and you know, quite often there's not. So
hey, that says a lot about your pedigree, buddy. That does. That's what that does. You're full breed. You're a full breed right there.
I'm full. I don't know about the breed, but I definitely am full. All right. So you know, I do have to say, like, let's see, how do I want to? I heard all what you said. I do want to say this. Quite often here recently, I don't want to be doom and gloom, but I do think that, especially in Atlantic Flyway, in the U.S., Atlantic Flyway, there is like major reductions coming our way. My sea duck season went from 107 days to 60 days. It went from a 5-bird limit, no more than 4 scoters. It went from a 5-bird limit, no more than 4 of any of the sea ducks, scoter, old squaw, or eider. I tell guys, younger guys, I was like, hey, when we start talking about this kind of thing, that, you know, the eastern mallard population is down. They're talking about that number is going to be reduced. And I tell, we have a 60-day regular duck season, a 6-bird limit. I was like, hey, do you remember the 30-day duck season, 3 birds a day? And they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's like when I first started duck hunting, the full duck season was 30 days and it was 3 birds, and like hardly anybody duck hunted because nobody really went for, I don't know about the 30 days, but they didn't go for the 3 birds. And in our area, especially Maryland, goose hunting was much more popular there. So pretty much guys that duck hunted kind of when the 30-day season came about, they went more over to shooting geese. But yeah, it is, we've been very fortunate, and please reel me back in if I go off on a tangent, but we've been very fortunate over the last 18, 19, 20 years that we've had a very liberal season here in the Atlantic Flyway, where we do have a 60-day duck season, not a 45-day duck season, and not a 30-day duck season. But especially with COVID, the past 2 seasons, U.S. Fish and Wildlife not getting into Canada, nobody counting any birds. I really kind of feel like, the numbers, they're going to kind of reel things back in, and the liberal seasons are going to become more conservative. Our AP Canada goose that get nests on the Ungava Peninsula, it's down to it's a 30 mosquito. It's down to a 30. There, I got him. It's down to a 30-day 1 bird season for our resident. I'm not sorry, not resident, but our migratory AP, the Atlantic population Canada goose. Again, I don't want to be doom and gloom, but like things are kind of on a downward swing.
And I think too, with the younger generation, like they see that they can go out to a field and do their scouting and be like, oh, there's birds there, I know I'm going to have a good hunt. And then they know it, right? Whereas with the ducks, like they can scout, and those ducks, they'll piss you off half the time, right? So it's like, oh, I don't. And then also on top of that, a goose is a goose. Like if Canada geese are in the field, you're getting Canada geese. When it comes to duck hunting, like you don't know, there might be some, uncommon bird that comes in, and then you got to know what you're shooting when it's flying there. You don't want to put that work into it to start. It's a tough thing to learn, is what those birds are on the fly, right? Like, so there's that about it too. So
yeah, I mean, with my guiding, I get a mixed group of people, and generally, typically, man, like the age group, I would say, becomes older and older, and I'll have fathers say that their sons are just not, and daughters, just not interested. They're the instant gratification. They quite often, I really hear, and I love technology. I truly do. I mean, if you follow along with me, technology, I do. But like, I know. And like my son's into playing video games. He's not. Yeah, I tried. He shot a couple times, and he's not. This is not his world. He wants to sit on a computer and play games, or sit on his phone and play games.
And that's the other thing, like, I don't get, is some kids are playing this iHunt or Wild Hunt or something like that, and it's got like a celebrity hunter. It's got Remy Warren?
Yeah,
hunting in
Remy,
it.
Yeah. I know who he is. I don't know him personally.
So he's the guy that's a special character in this game, and kids are playing that game, and you look at them and you're like, hey, do you want to go actual hunting? Well, do we have to sit and just wait for the birds or wait for the deer to come in? Well, yeah. Well, no, I'm just going to do it on my computer, and I can shoot 10 deer in 1 minute, right? It's technology, man. I know what you're saying.
But I hear you. I hear you, Jeff. Like I've got a son and a daughter. My daughter, she's a sports kid and just wants to play sports. And she's 15 years old and appreciates sleep more than anything. So I'm not getting her up to go hunt. And my son is exactly like your son. Like, so my son will come out turkey hunting because he loves turkey hunting, but it's a one sit. Every time he's come out, it's been one sit. We sit down, 2 hours later, we're back home because we get our bird and then that's done. And then he's back to playing his games and stuff. And I'm holding out hope that someday he will say, you know what, I really want to spend some time with my dad and I want to go out with him, right? But I'm not forcing it on him by no means. He's a good kid, does well in school, gives me no grief. I'm not going to try and push my, hobbies onto him. But when I'm talking, I don't know if I talked about this on the last episode. I took one of Dave and I's real good friends out the last couple nights. We've been out hunting, and when we get to the launch, we're talking to people at the boat launch, and people are like, oh yeah, you're seeing lots of birds. We scared a lot of them, but we didn't shoot any. And I said to our friend, and I was like, listen, I said, you know why fellas aren't shooting birds? Is because they're not putting the work in to hiding. And there's birds. Like, everyone is saying there's no birds around. We have birds. There's a lot of birds now. But they're, at this point, they're decoy shy, because they've been just blasted every time they've skirted a setup, right? So now they're not coming in, they're not landing. And what's happening is fellas are just taking these crazy shots to try and knock on a prayer, trying to knock birds down. And you're just educating birds, and now they're not coming into the spread, and it makes it hard. But if these people would have just put in a little bit of extra time to hide, then the birds would have come in and worked for them the way that they intended for them, and they probably would have got a couple birds out of it. But and this is a really big explanation onto the fact that people just don't want to seem to put the work in anymore. They want, hey, I'm going out. So here are the questions that I see all the time. What's the best ammunition? What's the best semi-automatic shotgun? Everything's got to be faster, better, quicker.
What's the best choke? What choke do I need?
Yeah, what choke do I need? And no one wants to listen. Go buy, and I get it. Ammo is expensive, and I get it. Time means something, but there's only one. Asking on Facebook is not going to get you the answer that you want. The only way you're going to get the answer that you want is put a piece of cardboard up and shoot it, and then you will find out: am I happy with this spread? Am I happy with this choke? And I get it. Like, it's expensive, and you've got to trial and error, but you're not going to get those answers on Facebook. You're not.
My favorite post this week was the guy who posted on one of the Ontario hunting forums. My buddy tells me I can't shoot swans. Is that true? Well, it tells you right there in the
in the regs.
In the regs, right?
Regs,
like,
yeah. Yeah.
Rule number 2 when you're in my boat: shoot what you can afford.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Swan's a $10,000 fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's up to you if you can afford it.
But it just, and I get it, especially the young kids at 18, 19 years old. I know this is a crazy, ridiculous, expensive hobby to have. I get it that you're never, ever quite content with your setup, your boat, your rig. You're always looking to improve, to increase your chances on getting more birds. And I understand it. But listen, I started with the old duck cloth, that duck fabric jacket with no decoys, with a single shot cooey and 2 3/4 inch shells. And I killed birds. I didn't kill a ton of birds, but I killed birds. But I tell you, those days were the most fun I ever had, because we had 2 shotguns between 4 buddies. And we just shared the shotgun back and forth. And, okay, you had your shot, you missed, my turn now. And like, those were the things that were those were the memories that I'll always take back to when I was 15, 16 years old and just starting at this. I just wish some of the younger kids would just sit back and soak it all in for what it is, because it's not really just about shooting birds, right? I think we can all agree on that. Like, it's more about the circle that you surround yourself with.
I think it's just a sign of the times, the need for instant gratification, the need for doing stuff at all times, right? In particular, my hunt, I want to say it was last weekend, but I think that was Thanksgiving, and I only hunted. Anyway, whatever day it was, I went out and I brought my whole spread in my new canoe, and I went out and I noticed 2 more groups show up, and they were both young groups. And I set up far away, put my spread out, just put the jerk rig out, no motion ducks, nothing, right? And sat there. First light comes on, and all of a sudden, both those groups just hammering on their calls. wah, 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 wah. They're going nuts. Sure as shit, they have 3-4 roboducks each, and both of them are exactly the same. Both of them are blowing their calls as loud and as much as possible. And I sat there. I didn't use my call once. And I tell you, I think I had more birds circling my decoys than they did. Just less was more there, right? So take that for something too, right? Enjoy the sunset, enjoy the sunrise, whatever it is, less is more.
So I have said, like, again, amongst us three, I'm the oldest guy. The older I get, two things I understand. Everything is relative. Relative what I have done and what you've done, what I haven't done and what you haven't done. So you come to Maryland, Karen and I, we love seafood. Seafood is very readily available to us. So maybe I won't say it's not that important to us, but it's something that we have, very often. It's very readily available. Somebody coming from Ohio, Tennessee, Oklahoma, seafoods, they don't get fresh seafood. They don't have seafood because, geographically, regionally where they're from, and seafood is very important to them. So what I'm trying to say is, again, everything is relative. That's number one. And number two, getting back to the kind of the age difference, I love social media. I love technology. I've had my best example of this is I had two fathers with two sons. The fathers loved Facebook. The son, one son was 15, the other was 16. They're like, "Hey Jeff, tell them about what you think about Facebook." The sons both say, like in unison, "Facebook's for old people. Instagram's where that's where we're at. It's Instagram." And it is very, again, it's, to me, I'm rambling, but what I'm trying to say is I think quite often what we do is very, very relative.
Yeah.
And that's another example of, like, Facebook, you got to scroll through and you see this, everyone has a story attached. Instagram, it's instant grad. Like, you can go through and just flip through 500,000 pictures, right? It's,
Yep.
Even the videos, like the TikToks and all that stuff. It used to be YouTube. Well, now people are trying to cram in as much information to 1 or 2 or 3 minute videos. Ooh. Right? And it's narrowing it down more, right? So
very interesting. You just brought this up and I totally forgot about it, but Bobby Hayes from Ducklander Calls sent me a message one day early this week. So YouTube has been constantly evolving, constantly changing, especially when it comes to the hunting world and what product gets put out to the masses. So up until now, as long as it wasn't grotesque or inhumane, I would hazard to say that YouTube allowed those hunting videos to be able to be shown. But they are going to clamp down within the next few months. Clamp down to the point that any picture, video, anything showing a dead animal will automatically get you in YouTube jail. I'll put that up on our social media just so everybody can see it. Because it's not fake news. It is something that YouTube is going to do. And I think for people like us, and same with you, Jeff, like YouTube and you are living proof of someone that has embraced technology and has used it to the best of your ability to benefit and promote and grow the Pitboss Waterfowl world. So, how many more people are out there that YouTube, this decision by YouTube is going to affect? And now we need, and it's on us. It's on us as the hunters that it's now our responsibility to figure out a way to still show our content, to be able to grow and promote ourselves while staying within the guidelines of a company like this. And honestly, like, I'm surprised it's taken them this long to come out with this type of rule, because for everybody that's like Pitboss Waterfowl, that's showing humane dispatches of animals and birds and all that stuff, we do have the absolute fucking idiots that just put the worst stuff up, and which is what makes it bad for the rest of us, right? So I will put that up on social media just so that everyone can see that I'm not just pulling this out of my butt, and it is 100% real. But
do you not remember a few years ago? I hazard to say 2018, 2019, YouTube did demonetization for guns as well.
yes,
And there was actually people that they're like, we can't show our gun content, and that's all we do is manufacture guns. So they actually switched to adult film type platforms before new platforms were made for the outdoors. But they switched, like, there were certain gun companies that were like, you'd go to pornhub.com/gun manufacturer and it would be their videos from YouTube, but that was the only way that they were showing them then. It was a weird time. I'm serious.
Pornhub?
I swear. I swear, buddy.
What is
I will get
that?
you the link.
Yeah, what webpage did you just say? I'm not familiar.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
Pornhub?
Oh, corn.
What is that?
Not familiar with it. Never heard of it.
Yeah. I only saw gun manufacturing.
I've never heard of what you're talking about.
And for those of the people that can't see and they're listening, Jeff is in the common area of his chalet, and Karen is across the room, and he's like, I have no idea what they're talking about, honey. No idea. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So anyway, what I was trying to say is now there's a different company that made it's like a YouTube for outdoors. I forget the name of it, but that's what it all came out of, is from all that stuff. I forget the name of the new place now, but hopefully it takes off and it does well.
Yeah,
right?
I hope so. And I think maybe that's something that we should be looking into. Not that I'm anti YouTube, because I understand the reasoning behind it. Especially when it comes to people that don't want to see it, how easily they can have access to it, or how easily it could just pop up into their feed, right? So I'm not anti YouTube. I'm surprised it's taken them this long to make that decision, to be honest with you. But it now falls on us to be the more responsible people and show, just like as gun owners, we're the safest people as legal gun owners. We're safe, we're responsible, we do what we're supposed to do, and we abide by the rules. And this is just another example of us. It's just another hoop for us to jump through. And you can get mad and complain about it all you want, but at the end of the day, it's not going to change anything.
Just so you know, I just sent you the link from Reddit talking about what I was just saying, just so that people aren't like, yeah, right, Dave, bullshit.
I thought it was about a Pornhub link. I guess walking back in, I don't know what you're talking about.
Are you lying?
No, I never lie.
But Jeff, okay, so we beat this all to death. Now listen, give us you're come up from Maryland. You're in PEI for 2 weeks. It's going to be 7 days before I get there. What's the next week looking like for you and Karen?
Well, first off, you talk about jumping through hoops. Do you know how many hoops we had to jump through to get here right now?
Yeah, so that's good. So actually, why don't you start off with that and talk about how, 3 weeks ago, you and Karen were doing flyby tests of COVID just to make sure that you were going to get across it. So I'll just leave it to you and let you have the mic for a bit.
Well, thank you very much. All right. So listen, yeah, you have to, amongst other things, you have to have a negative test within 72 hours. In Maryland, where we're at, a lot of people get tested. So we were like we better, if we want to leave on Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, we better get tested to see how quickly do we get these results, because we don't want to drive, 17 hours. We're driving to get here. We don't want to drive 17 hours and not be able to get into the country. So there was a lot of, a thought process that went into this to make sure that, we really, really want to get here. We were very disappointed last year. We did not get here. This is my fourth year that I'm here, Karen's third year that she's been here. And we really, last year, Karen especially was very, very bummed out that we did not get here. So, all right, look, I ramble. I want to jump on to something else, but I'm going to come back to how many humps.
You go for it, buddy.
All right. So look, at my age, I'm about the experience. So when we come to PEI, we're going to shoot geese, or we're going to shoot 5 geese, or we're going to shoot 6 black ducks. Yeah, maybe not. But I become the tourist. I want to see everything else that PEI has to offer. I'm all about the hunting, all about the shooting, all about all of the waterfowl experience that's here. But I want to see what else does PEI have to offer. Bluefin tuna. I want to go visit the teacup. I want to see. This is like supposedly all in the States. 90% of the mussels that we eat in the United States come from PEI. I want to go see. I love eating. I love eating mussels. I want to go see where these things are grown.
Yeah.
So it's all about the experience. When I went to St. Paul Island to shoot king eider, man, king eiders are cool. I want to get on the crab boat. I want to see what these guys, the deadliest catch guys, are doing.
Yeah.
So I'm all about the experience and seeing what else. I want to be the tourist, and everything that the area has to offer, I want to go do and see. When I'm there to shoot ducks and geese and ducks, I want to see everything else that they have going on.
I did watch your video of you with the bluefin tuna a couple years ago. That was pretty crazy.
Thank you. We got it lined up. Karen's going to hang on this minute, and we have a 4-day window that hopefully I got to do it last time. She's going to do it this time. She loves to fish, and I hope her tuna is bigger than mine.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
So to swing back, we did do a lot of testing on these tests to see how we're going to get it into the country. We had to get a PEI pass, which actually online was very easy.
Yeah.
Time passed along. We drove through New Brunswick, so we had to get a New Brunswick pass. Then we had, Karen, what's that called? Arrive can. We had to go to the federal government level. We had to, within 72 hours upon our arrival, we had to get that in place and put in motion. And once we got across the bridge here in PEI, and Damon, I guess you're going to have to do it too. They stuck swabs up our nose. I haven't got a phone call. He said, if you don't get a phone call in 2 hours, you're good to go. But we got swabbed, and we were like ducks that we shoot for avian influenza. We got swabbed, man. So
I've made it this far in COVID without getting swabbed yet, and now.
Well, when you come across, it is the Confederation Bridge is the longest bridge in the world over ice-covered water. Now, it's not ice-covered water right now, but the bridge is pretty impressive. 17 kilometers you drive across.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to that. You haven't had one yet, Damien?
I haven't. I have not had a swab yet.
Okay, so the first live video I want, Steve Segoo, Josh Reed, I know you're listening. The first video I want is Damien crying, saying, "No, I don't want that in my nose."
Yeah, whatever, man. I don't cry.
It's this test is very easy. Karen, I can't remember exactly when. Early on in COVID, one of her coworkers tested positive, so she had to go get tested. I had to go get tested. There was this tickly, what was that thing called, love? Well, but it was like 8 inches long, and they shoved that thing all the way up, and I know it touched my brain, and I did not enjoy that experience whatsoever. This little thing that they went and did this, Damon, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
Oh, it's just the instant one, like the
rapid.
Yeah, it doesn't even go an inch. You'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
He said 1 centimeter. I don't know centimeters, I'm in inches, but he said 1 centimeter.
Wow. There's 2.54 centimeters in an inch. So
so that would be half less than half an inch.
Yeah, less than half an inch. No, but so and it's good. Like, sorry, Dave, I'm going to cut you off here, but it's good because we're always striving to be that education piece. And now, so we just found out yesterday that Canadians are going to be able to cross the land border into the States. Americans, have been able to cross over, provided that they're double vaccinated and stuff. And I know, I do know that on both sides of the border, there's people that's not willing to do the vaccination and stuff like that. But especially our listeners that are down in the States, if you think that it's just a quick cross the border, it's not anymore. Like there is a fair amount of prep work that you have to put into this. Just because you don't want to get to the border and then be stuck there or forced to turn around and go back, right? In Canada, to get it, in my experience so far anyways, to get that negative drug test in Canada, it's fairly quick, but we don't have the population that you guys have, right? And the same demand of people coming in trying to get those negative tests. So if you are in the state, if you are stateside and you're looking to come into Canada, you might want to do a little bit of extra research and a little bit more prep time to make sure that you're going to be successful in crossing the border.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Karen's listening to me. I really thought that she's looking at me now. She gave me the glare. I really thought that the whole COVID thing, it was going to be very difficult. We were we put a lot of time and effort to get here. Mm-hmm. My fear was I would get in and she would not have to leave her at the border and come over here for 2 weeks, and she'd have to stay in.
She'd have to thumb her way back to Ocean City.
I would be leaving him at the border, and I would take the dogs and the guns and leave him.
So really,
they are not stopping Karen from getting that bluefin.
So the first thing you need to realize, Karen, is that all you would have had to do was say, "I'm from Australia," and they were like, "Oh, you're good then. Come on in. Come on in." No, don't worry about that American.
So yeah, I was in before he was ever.
Absolutely.
So sincerely, I really thought we both thought that the whole COVID thing was going to be a very difficult thing, a very difficult hurdle to challenge. We did it. We did it again. We did our test. We did our tests. Then we did a real test. We had our 3 different, online paperwork, if you will. My last thought was that my truck was going to get torn apart. Mm-hmm. I thought they would be so fixated on COVID that there would be no issue on that. But because nobody was coming through the border, we were like we were the 3-legged gazelle. We were the 3-legged wildebeest trying to cross the river with all the crocodiles in there. And I never thought my truck would get apart.
Wow, there's been 2 years of all those border agents haven't been able to do anything, and they seen you roll in. They were like, "Training day, here we go. Let's get all these young pups out and start tearing this truck apart." I'm glad, but I am glad that that they were friendly.
Yes,
that they were friendly and they weren't jerks or assholes or anything like that. They were friendly. But seriously, come on. It's a little bit of bird dog whiskey. Come on.
They're just making up for when that border closed.
Yeah.
Border closed. It was just like, get on through, everybody. You're Canadian. Go on.
I told that story twice today here. I said, those guys said, man, if we knew that, we would have been loaded to the gills with it. But they, come on, get back in. Come on, get back in.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Damon,
so
I don't know if you know what you're in store for when you get here, man.
Oh, buddy, you have no idea how much we're looking forward. I talked to Steve and Josh, and I said, "Hey, are you guys all ready?" I've been busy, and Dave and we've got so much on the go right now. So I just messaged those guys last night, and I was like, "Hey, are you ready?" And they were like, "We've been ready for a month, man. We've got nothing. Like we're ready. We can't wait to go." So those guys are absolutely just pumped to be going. They're going to get their first trip out of Ontario to go on a hunt this year. Their first, I would hazard to say, their first big hunt will be down in PEI. I'm looking forward to it. And you live on the salt water, so you'll understand. When I went home to Newfoundland this summer for my 2 weeks, I didn't realize how much I missed the smell of the salt water. So for me, again, I'm happy to be going to PEI. So for a number of reasons, I've never been to PEI. It's the only province that I haven't been into. I'm going to get to hang out with you and Karen and Jeff and have a smasher of a time. But I'm also going to be on the Atlantic, and I'm going to get to smell that salt water, and my soul needs that salt water. So that's my biggest thing. Not to downplay actually getting to shake hands with you, but hey, and you know what? I was so bummed out. I told Dave that I didn't think you were going to get your coin. I thought it got lost in the mail, but you got it. And
the last time we shipped something to Jeff,
yeah,
it was the week before Christmas. I send Karen a message over Instagram, and I'm like, hey, I know you don't know me. I'm friends with Jeff, kind of, I think. But I sent him a package. It says it's delivered, and he hasn't said or done anything. Like, did you get it? And then she's like, no. Wasn't it like March before you got it?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it was
the shirts and all that stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure you dropped 4 shirt sizes from the time I sent it.
And gained back 2.
You know what? Hey, whatever, buddy. It's still. Yeah.
All right. So look, I did text Damon. I said, maybe there's just something like Canada, Ontario to like Berlin, Maryland. Maybe like there's just something bad in the air there. It just doesn't happen.
But anyways, 2 days later, it showed up. So, which I sort of kind of ruined the surprise because I was so bummed out that I was like, oh man.
It probably just took a long time to get through Texas.
That could
be. So for those that are geographically challenged, if that envelope made it down to Texas and then had to get up to Maryland, the U.S. Postal Service needs to recheck their logistics.
Dave, I want to tell you something. The only reason Damon said I text him, the only reason I don't text you is I don't have your phone number, man.
Yeah, you do.
I do?
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't Jeff, it's okay. It's
you,
okay.
Me, and JJ. I was trying to get JJ on the show.
Oh man. You know what? You are right. You are right. That's we'll have to talk about that one private.
To be fair, I'm horrible with my phone. Right now, like my phone's super busy with work and something else going on, and then the camp coming up. But like starting Monday again, my phone will be disappearing, and I won't like. A guy text messaged me there last week, and then he sent me another text message, and he showed up at my door tonight at supper time, and he's like, "Hey, are you mad at me? Like you haven't been responding to your text messages." Like it's just I'm bad with my phone, man.
Hey,
all right, Dave. When we hang up, when this is all over, Karen's walking around with guns right now. I don't know what's going on.
It's probably from the first conversation we had, the hub. Well, tell me about this thing you don't know about again.
That's awesome, Dave. Tell me about this thing you don't know about again. That's good.
I'm sorry, I messed everybody up. Go ahead, Dave.
No, you were talking. I don't know.
No, I said when I hang up, I'm gonna go through my phone, and I'm gonna find that message.
So, and I gotta do a shout out here because I haven't done it yet. And he's a friend of yours, Jeff, and he's messaged me. And that's Dana. I'm gonna say his last name, but you'll probably correct me. Dana Lovell, is it Lovell?
Yeah. Hey, like it's probably like Kincardin.
Oh, Kincardin.
Lovell.
Hey, you guys are talking about seafood and shit. I don't know if you saw in the news, but a rare those when you go into a grocery store and there's that like water tank and it's got the bubbler going and there's lobsters in it.
Yeah.
There was a rare orange lobster found in the Kincardin Sobeys this week. Just throwing that out there.
Well, I don't want to burst your bubble, but most lobsters are a hint of orange.
No, this one, it's actually good. They're sending it to Ripley's Aquarium in Toronto or some
Oh,
shit.
really?
I looked at it and I was like, I ain't eating that shit. It looks different, right?
So growing up on the East Coast, I won't eat a lobster that comes from a supermarket.
No. So, Jeff, what is the guide that you're with there saying about the weather conditions, the bird conditions out in PEI right now? How is things looking?
First off, although he does have a guide's license, Jeff Wood is a very good friend of mine.
Yeah. No.
Okay. Yeah. So like tonight, right at the door here, we got 8 up, and I guess I left the door open as we moved everything in, and the mosquitoes were pretty heavy. It's been very, very mild. 3 years ago with Drake's Migration Nation, we had some sheetwater ice in the morning. We had a little bit of spit and snow. It felt like the way the season should be. And I'm always in shorts and flip flops, but I'm very comfortable this evening outside when we're in shorts and flip flops, except for getting bitten by the mosquito. So it's just the general trend is just it's kind of mild here. And truthfully, like the next 15-day forecast, it's on highs mid 50 to 60, and then like the lows are like the low 40s. That's really all they got going on.
But they've been doing well. Like we've been seeing
yes.
pictures of those guys. Like they're shooting birds. They're killing birds. Like they're yeah.
Good.
Yeah, sorry. So to go back, so with because we're all over the place, that's what we do on this show. So Dana reached out to me and he was like, I'm putting a package in the mail for you. I was like, absolutely not. You do not need to do that. He was like, well, I'm doing it. So just give me your address. I'm putting a package in the mail for you. Let's see if it works. And so his company, Jeff, is Long Line Decoys, right?
Instagram at Long Line Decoys. Yes.
So super awesome dude. Never ever met him, but just he likes the show. And
Hey, where's Dave from?
Kincardine.
Yeah, so Dana might be from Gulford or Guilford. Guilford, Maine. I'm not sure. It's spelled the same way. I just pronounce it differently.
He has some really nice looking decoys too.
Oh, he does.
He does.
I've been looking at those, and that's now that I got the Pitboss out of the way.
There you go.
Yeah. So
boys, we're almost to that 60-minute mark. Jeff, I know you've had a crazy long last 24 hours. I told you, do not feel obligated to come on the show tonight. I know you're busy, just getting the dogs aired out, having dinner, meeting up with Jeff and Judy. I know you're super busy, so we can't thank you enough, buddy, for coming on tonight, because I know you're extremely busy. And it was great that you did, because I get to rub it in Dave's face just a little bit more that I'm going to PEI and he's stuck in Kincardine.
Dave, there is 2022.
Oh, buddy, the border's opening in November, and I am going to travel.
There you go.
So this is something.
I can't wait to see a video, Damien, like this, at the front of a boat, going and hearing you going, lead it, and him just missing.
That sounds.
One more time.
Yeah, that sounds exactly like how it's going to go down too. 100%.
Yeah. I took a new guy out the other day, and I was saying, lead it. And I'm pretty sure I was trying to channel my inner Jeff. Like it was just, I stopped afterwards and I'm like, I'm talking just like Jeff right now. It was fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's totally how that conversation is going to go down. Jeff is probably going to have some big belly laughs at me when I finally get into the boat with him, which is looking fabulous, by the way.
Good time. Like I truly, the U.S. Thanksgiving is kind of a tough time for me. It was perfect time for you guys. Like it was going to be a big time. And when it happens, it will be a big time, and we can accommodate 6.
Absolutely. one thing that you and I need to do, Jeff,
Yes,
is
sir.
we need, because I have a feeling that you are going to continue to come to PEI. I have a feeling that myself and Dave will continue to come to PEI. So between now and next week, when I get there, we have to come up with a name for, and it's going to be we can call it the Pitboss Punisher Waterfowl Grants, whatever we want to call it. We just need a name for it, because I am going to push very hard for this to become a yearly thing, because I think it would just be awesome if we could mark that on our calendars every year as
We don't need to mention Pitboss at all. We can call it the PEI event.
like it, and we don't need to mention Punisher at all.
Well, I'm not saying
PEI
that.
hunt. No, but
It's about promoting. Again, it's about promoting the island. It's about promoting the area.
mhm.
I say, much like when I talk to Karen, I just think she's in sync with me. So like when I start talking about something, she's like, "What are you talking about?" When I say PEI, I just assume everybody knows. When I say PEI, it's Prince Edward Island, and people,
Mhm.
what are you talking about? Prince Edward Island. And what?
Mhm.
I don't want to take up your time. If you can cut me short.
No, go for it, buddy.
With Migration Nation, Drake Waterfowl, Geoff's whole goal was to promote the island, because this is where he grew up. This is where his family grew up, and he wants to show to showcase what the island has. And he's like, I don't know that a lot of people really know, Prince Edward Island, what PEI is. And I say PEI all the time. Like people should know, like they know what I'm talking about. And people like, what are you talking about PEI? And so I have to kind of go off it a little bit and say, hey, it's the furthest east you can drive in Canada, and that whole kind of thing. And it's a beautiful island, and potatoes, and it's beautiful, and black ducks and geese, and it's you want to. I don't really say paradise a lot, but I mean, you want to talk about a waterfowler's paradise. That is quite what it is.
No, we lost Jeff's video.
No, there we go.
You're on mute, Dave.
I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, I thought you were about to say something. So PEI. So listen, get Jeff to play you a song tomorrow. It's called Bud to Spud, and yeah, Bud to Spud, and he'll probably laugh when you ask him. But it's an iconic PEI song, and you'll get a good laugh out of hearing us from one of the greatest Canadian songwriters ever, Staunton Town Connor, so-called Bud to Spud. Ask Geoff about it, and he'll have a good laugh about it. Fellas, Dave, last word to you, buddy, before we give it to Jeff.
Jeff, man, thanks for coming on. I look forward to this every time, and we'll keep in touch for sure. Take care of my boys when they're out there, and after they are done, I want you to come back on and tell us about how it went from your side. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Oh no, that's going to be embarrassing. I can tell.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
Jeff, to you, buddy.
So look, man, we need to promote the Union 0430 podcast, Punisher Waterfowl podcast, to the masses, to the millions that are listening and in attendance this evening, right?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. So, no, man, it's all about promoting. It's all about being positive. And, man, I just, if for nothing else, I don't look good. I'm an old, fat, white guy that does not look good in a bikini. But, man, I love social media. And I love doing what we do. So I'm all about it. And when Damien, when you were here, this little table right here, we're gonna have some big time discussions.
I appreciate it.
Amongst Canada geese, possibly some black ducks, possibly some peach bird dog whiskey, and we're just going to have a good time, man. We're going to enjoy enjoying.
Absolutely. We are going to have a good time, and the birds are secondary. We're going to have a blast.
And always, I appreciate you both and everybody that is Punisher Waterfowl having me on. So, guys, thank you very much.
Well, the honor is ours, buddy. And I've said it to you a million times right from the get-go, the very first time that Dave reached out to you and asked you to come on our little show, that we were this crazy idea that we had, and Dave reached out, and you were so good that you came on, and now you've become a great friend and someone that I'm gonna personally get to meet in about 7 days. So a great big hug will be coming to you. And if you paid attention to the rules that I sent you for the challenge coin, I think you're only 7 steps away from your coin. So you better have her on you when I meet up with you. Everybody
with no holes in it.
With no holes in it. That's right. Everybody, this is the Union 0430. If this is the first episode you've ever watched, please go back, because there's 69 episodes before this, and we are exactly as advertised. We're not professionals, we're not experts, and we don't pretend to be. We are a group of friends that love one another's company, and we love to hunt birds. Listen, follow us, give us a shout out. If you see Jeff Coates, Pitboss Waterfowl, Dave, Ryan, Mark, Phil, myself, you see us on the road, please say hi, because you have no idea how much we love to talk waterfowl hunting. So we'll always make time for you. Please reach out to us. This was episode 70. There will be an episode done from PEI with me sitting next to Jeff Coates. Yeah, I'm hoping we can pull that off. Big love, everybody. Until next week.